Want to learn how to pick tile for a smaller bathroom to help it look bigger? If so, this video is for you. So if you're about to renovate a small bathroom and you're having to go tile shopping, but you really don't know where to begin, you're confused on what type of tile would work best for a smaller space, let's go through some things and sort of get some clarity for you. First up, right now I'm actually doing a small bathroom for a client, and it took some convincing, but I had to let her know that using smaller tiles actually helps this space look bigger. So she has a little bit of floor space. And first up, let's talk about the main bathroom floor. So that's the floor around the toilet, leading up to the shower, and so on. I'm trying to tell the client that it actually helps elongate the view if you use the same floor tile in the shower. So a lot of times you'll see like a main floor tile, a shower floor tile, and then a wall tile. It actually helps elongate the space and make it feel larger if you use the same tile throughout the entire floor, even in the shower. So typically in the shower, you'll see little smaller profile tiles, usually 2 by 2 inch or smaller is what you need for the shower floor slope. So you'd see a whole range of tiles like this to choose from that give you that smaller profile of a tile. But you can also carry it through to the main bathroom floor, which helps really elongate the space. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've set up a little display here to show you what I'm talking about. So imagine that this is the whole bathroom floor area, and if this was everything, meaning the first 3 are the main bathroom floor, the last 2 are the shower floor. It really lets your eye line keep going, there's no interruptions. But look over here, if you decided that you wanted to do something different in the shower floor, what happens? It really cuts the space shorter if the top 2 aren't the same as the others. And as you see the view, your eye stops at the end of the hex pattern instead of carrying through. So if you look at the 2 side by side, keeping the same tile for the main floor and the shower floor will really help it feel larger. So does that make sense? You want to keep the tile all uniform because when you're looking at something, the more similar it is, the further it goes, the bigger the room will feel. So let me show you what I'm talking about in some of the larger tile. So this design board actually shows exactly what I'm talking about. Do you see that this is a larger profile tile, but this size here, you're only going to see one whole full tile. And of course, this display is a lot smaller than an actual bathroom. But again, there are some pretty small bathrooms. So you want to make sure that you get to see enough of full tiles when you're doing a space. It looks really awkward if you just have, again, just little pieces of a tile and you don't ever get to see the full tile, or you don't see enough of the full tiles. And here's another example. It's a larger profile tile, but you're only going to see a couple of the full tiles and the rest are going to be chopped off. It's just really not a great look. So for a smaller bathroom, you could do a tile like this. This is the 12 by 24 size, which is a super popular size. But in a really small bathroom, say a bathroom that's maybe, 5 by 8, and you've got a shower and toilet and all of that, I still think a smaller mosaic type tile does the best for elongating the space and making it feel larger. So you could do a 12 by 24, but I still don't think it's the best look, especially if it's in a house that you're trying to have some style. There's really not much that you're going to see of the tile in this size. And while at first I showed you super tiny hex, this would also still work because there's not lines that you're going to see cut off. You're still going to see a lot of the circles. So just think of it as any pattern tile with smaller segments would be a good option for a smaller bathroom. Okay, so now that we have some rules for the bathroom floor, let's talk about the shower walls. I love right now is doing a rectangular shape, what you call like a subway shape, but laying it vertically as you see here in this display. I think it really helps draw the eye line up. In smaller spaces, you want to make the height seem the longest, the width seem the longest. So this is definitely a better look than what you see over here, which is laying it back in the horizontal pattern. Do you see the difference even visually? One draws your eye upward. That's definitely what you're going to want to do in a smaller bathroom. And it doesn't always have to be rectangular in shape. See this right here? It's just a hex, but it's laid vertically. So again, it helps draw your eye up. So anything that gives you that vertical line will help the space feel larger. In a smaller bathroom, I would avoid super patterned tiles like this or very geographic ones on the shower walls because it will draw the space inward. As you can tell, this is really in your face. So it's a beautiful tile. It could possibly be used on the floor because again, it has a smaller pattern, but I would say definitely not for the walls in a smaller space. You need to let the space breathe, feel airy, and let your eye line go as far as possible and raise that height. Okay, so now that we've talked about size, directional, how we should lay things, let's talk about color. We do not need to be afraid of dark colored tile for smaller bathrooms. And I know that might go against a lot of stuff that you may have heard, but this dark floor actually on a smaller bathroom would look really good. It just lets your eye flow. The darker space almost is like you're going into a void, if that makes sense. Your eye doesn't stop anywhere with a darker floor. The only way I'd be careful is if you're going to do a darker floor and a darker wall. You can still do a darker color wall tile in a small bathroom, but it needs to be lighter than the floor and it should have some dimension and depth to it. And what do I mean by dimension and depth? Well, if you're doing this floor right here, I would not do this on the bathroom shower wall along with the dark floor, because if you see, there's just nothing to it. It just ends, the big black wall that would definitely make the space feel smaller and come right at you. Even if you look at it right here beside me, it's just, you stop right there. So let me find one with a little more dimension. So here's a perfect example. It's not quite black, but you get the idea. But do you see how this is a glass tile? It adds some dimension. There's some light reflection. So it's not going to make the space feel smaller, even though it's a darker color. It will actually add a brightness and dimension to the space, making it feel larger. And if a dark bathroom isn't your vibe, that's totally fine. I actually really love a light, white, bright, spa-like bathroom. But if you do it, try not to, again, just do white, white, white with no dimension, no texture, no pattern. There's some really pretty options here. I've actually used all of these. This would be beautiful on a bathroom floor or a shower wall accent. They even have a nice little chevron-y one here. Again, it's light and bright, but it adds some texture and dimension so the space will not feel boring. You want texture, you want shapes, you want variation of pattern in the space, even in a small space. Don't skimp and just do plain white, square, rectangle tile with nothing going on. You definitely won't do the space any favors, especially in a small space. You want to make sure that you have some kind of visual impact. So hopefully that was helpful. I am off to take some samples to a client right now, but don't be afraid when you're choosing tile for a small bathroom. There's so many options. Just make sure that the floor tile is not too large, that the wall tile has some vertical upward momentum and dimension, and everything will be great.